Okay, so the number 21 is negative 8 divided by 0, and number 22 is 0 divided by negative 2. Well, one of these answers is undefined and the other one is 0. And I think it's easier for you to understand it or see that when it's written in fraction form. So whatever's first is going to be on top, whatever's second is going to be on bottom. Whatever's first is on top, whatever's second's on bottom. So this is going to be your undefined answer. Because remember, you can't have 0 on bottom of a fraction, and this is going to be your 0 answer. Division by 0 is undefined. Okay? Now I'll start your last section. And this last section is where you kind of put it all together. This is where we take order of operations, we take our sign rules for adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing, and putting it all together. And this is where it could get confusing. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is order of operations. Again, we haven't seen that in a while, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And remember, multiplying and dividing work together, and so does adding and subtracting from left to right. So let's go ahead and get started. In the first one, I do have a set of parentheses. So when I work inside of my parentheses, I have 3 minus 8. I have different signs, so I'm going to subtract, take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. So all I did there was subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. The bigger number is negative, so I brought down a negative 5. Now I'm going to bring down the minus in front and the negative 9. Now remember, when you have a double negative, you want to change that double negative to a positive. So that's what I'm going to do in this next step. Negative 9 plus 5. Alright, still I have different signs. I'm adding or subtracting here, so I have different signs, so that means to subtract and take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. So we didn't even do any kind of multiplying or dividing in that step, so this is something that we're just going to have to get used to. We're going to see them all combined at some point, so you have to be able to bring up some rules that we learned 2 sections ago or 3 sections ago, because they're not going to go away. For this next one, notice that I have the exponent that I'm going to work first. So I'm going to have 2 times itself 3 times, and I'm also just going to bring down this also. So that means I have 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8. Then I'm going to bring down that minus 6 times 3. And I need to do my multiplication here. So 6 times 3 is 18. And I have 8 minus 18. Different signs. I have a positive 8 and a negative 18. And so I'm going to subtract. Take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative. So my answer is negative. Now we have a ton going on in this next one. We have brackets, and inside of brackets we have parentheses. So I'm going to go to the innermost parenthesis, which is the 4 minus 15. I'm covering everything else up. I don't want to look at anything else. And so when I cover everything else up, I'm only looking at the 4 minus 15. I have different signs. I'm going to subtract, take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. And I'm going to bring everything else down. Now when I bring everything else down that's in the bracket, notice that this parenthesis only serves for a double negative. I'm going to make that double negative a positive in this step also. Just because I don't want to see a double negative and I don't want to rewrite it again to have to rewrite it in the next step. So we're still in our bracket. And we have negative 11 plus 6 minus 8. I'm just going to go 2 at a time. So I have a negative 11 and a positive 8, different signs. I want to subtract, take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is going to be negative 5. Bring down this minus 8. I have the same sign, so I'm going to add and keep the sign. Bring down my plus negative 5. Now here I have a negative 5 and a negative 13. So I'm going to add and keep the sign, and so I get negative 18 as an answer. Now for 4 and 5, these are my last problems on this section. I finally have some multiplication. So when I multiply, I have the same sign, so my answer is positive 21. And you can think of this as the same sign also, or you can bring down the negative. I'm going to say this is the same sign. I have a -5 and a -4. So I'm going to have a positive 20, 5 times 4. And now I have 21 plus 20, and that's going to give me 41. Okay, so that one wasn't too bad. And number 5, we have parentheses again. So you always want to work what's in the parentheses first. So inside my parentheses, I have a negative and a positive, different signs. I'm going to subtract, take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. I'm bringing everything else down. Now I'm multiplying again because you have to multiply before you add or subtract, and don't get into that bad habit of trying to add these numbers out in front. You must multiply first. So I have different signs. I have a positive 2 and a -2. So I'm going to have a -4 when I multiply. So 3 minus 4, different signs. I'm subtracting, taking the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is -1. Now this section is putting your adding and subtracting sign rules with your multiplying and dividing can get confusing. It is very important that you practice. And if you need any help on your homework, please let me know.